Just like that, we are live. Yes, good if my microphone was connected. Yes, we are live. We are back for the Survivor Series post-show. Survivor Series has just gone off the air from Petco Park in San Diego, California. And we've got a lot to talk about, don't we, folks? Yes, indeed we do. We do have a lot to talk about because we've got to talk about that ending, the show overall, who the person was, so much to get to. So be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe if you're new to Wrestle News 365. We're 3 subscribers away from 25,100. Right, let's just get into this. Let's get into this. We're going to talk about obviously the show overall and obviously the different matches and what these things mean. But let's, as is always the case with these post shows, you know how it goes here at Wrestle News 365. We'll start with the end first and then go back to the sort of chronological bit because, So the final match of the show was really what this show was about, which was the WarGames match. I know obviously there would be talk about John Cena and his final PLE match, blah blah blah. But we had this WarGames main event. This WarGames main event, Team Babyface versus Team Vision. CM Punk starts out for his team. Starting out for the heels was Bron Breakker. And it was a pretty chaotic match. I felt like in general, to be honest with you, the WarGames matches didn't really live up to the hype this year. The opening WarGames match with the women, I thought actually was really tame and quite paint by numbers, very predictable. This one, again, it's not the best WarGames match you're probably ever going to see. Some really concerning spots in there. The fact that Bron Breakker is alive and able to move is a minor miracle. He got hit with a doomsday device in this one and landed straight on his neck. It reminded me of Henry Godwinn on Monday Night Raw in 97 when this happened to him. He got hit with a doomsday device, broke his neck, was never the same. I thought that's what happened to him. The match goes how you would probably expect, whereby it's back and forth, and then Brock Lesnar comes in. He's the difference maker. He beats the hell out of everyone, drops everyone on their head. Who's going to stop Brock? Roman Reigns comes out. He takes a beating from Brock, gets F5 through the table, but he eventually can sort of turn the tide, and they go up against Brock. And then the closing moments of the match, this is where you're getting a bit sort of confused as to where things are going. The closing moments of the match, this mystery person starts scaling the cage, and they come over the top of the cage, and purposefully, I mean, let's just get to it. Let's just get to the shot on the screen. Of course, as always is the case on these post shows, we'll have screen grabs from the show and all that kind of stuff. So they're right. Here you go. So this is the person, and actually, I can probably get a better look at them. There you go. Right. That's the person who scales the cage, and then not only do they scale the cage, but they hit Seth Rollins' stomp. So clearly the indication here, what that we're trying to be led to believe, is that was Seth Rollins. Now, if it was Seth Rollins, why wouldn't they just show it to be Seth Rollins? So it's not Seth Rollins, obviously, because if it was Seth, they would just take off the mask and then it'd be like, oh, it's Seth Rollins. It's not Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has a shoulder injury. They're playing off the thing from earlier this year when Rollins wasn't hurt, and then they worked people into thinking he was hurt. They're trying to do the reverse now. They're trying to do the opposite. Rollins is legitimately hurt, and now they're trying to work us into thinking, oh, he's not hurt. So it's the other way around. But I don't think people are going to fall for it. So if it was Rollins, like I said, they would have just shown it to be Rollins. It also doesn't make a lot of sense for it to be Seth Rollins, right? Legitimately, he has undergone shoulder surgery, and he was attacked by the Vision. He was attacked by Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman turned his back on him. Becky Lynch even went up to Paul Heyman, if you recall, on the Raw after. They turned on him and got in his face and said all these things. So it's not Seth Rollins. The person that it's likely to be, if I had to guess, is probably quite underwhelming, but I think it's probably Austin Theory in reality. There had been rumors going in to Survivor Series and this was prior to Rollins getting hurt, that Austin Theory could be a new member of the Vision. And at one point, I think the plan was for the Survivor Series team to consist of Seth Rollins, Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, Austin Theory, and Brock Lesnar. I think that was the original plan. According to reports, that was the original plan, was it was going to be those 5. And then when Rollins got hurt, of course, things changed a little bit, but Austin Theory's name was still being brought up. I think if you look at the it's difficult to tell. If you go, well, that definitely looks like Austin Theory. It doesn't look like Seth Rollins. I don't look at that and go, well, that's definitely Seth Rollins. The guy, if anything, the guy's too muscular to be Seth Rollins, really. I think it's Austin Theory. Most likely. I mean, you let me know in the chat. We've got nearly 250 people watching. If you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe. New subscribers will pop up on the screen. Same with super chats. Who do you think it is? I'm going with it's probably Austin Theory, and I think it's just WWE. They're trying to do, like I said, the reverse of what they did earlier this year. Earlier this year, Rollins wasn't hurt, and they tried to convince us that he was hurt, so the reveal was big at SummerSlam, even though it was quite out at that point that Rollins wasn't hurt. This time it's the other way around, isn't it? Rollins is hurt, and they're trying to work us into thinking that he's not hurt. So they're just trying to... You know what it is? I almost feel like it's almost like Triple H and Paul Heyman and those creative people going, look, those marks online, those marks in the arena, we got them once. Even though they don't want to admit, we got them once. We'll get them twice. We'll do it again. Let's do it again. They'll fall for it. They'll fall for it again. They'll think it's Seth Rollins. And the crowd popped because it's a mystery person and it's a stomp. So they're like, oh, wow, maybe it is Rollins. But if it was Seth Rollins, he would have taken the mask off and they'd have just done the really big reveal. So the fact that they didn't do the really big reveal and they took the mask off is because it's not Seth Rollins in that hoodie. Now, who's to say that in the future it doesn't lead up to a point where the person eventually takes the mask off and it is Rollins, but that person on the screen right there ain't Seth Rollins. It's not. Well, again, you look at the physique, it's not Seth Rollins. Now, again, they might in the future try and pretend that was Seth, but it's not. It's not him. So if I had to guess, I would say Austin Theory. It's a letdown, you know. If eventually, because this is the danger I think WWE has as well, is if, let's say Monday night on Raw, that person comes out, takes the mask off, and they go, it's Austin Theory, there is going to be, I think, this sort of collective... All right. Okay. So, it felt maybe like it was, well, we kind of want the heels to win, and particularly with what happened in the post-match angle with Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns, which seems like a tease for WrestleMania, they were like, well, we need to do that post-match tease. We need to have this dissension between Cody, Punk, and Roman. So because of all of that, the baby faces need to lose. How do we have the baby faces lose while protecting the baby faces? Let's have a mystery person come in. We were trying to get Austin Theory with the Vision anyway. It can just be Austin Theory. That's what it will probably be. I think that would be my prediction of where this one's probably going. And to be honest, then we move into after, you know, who this person is, which again, I think it's Austin Theory. It looks to me like it's Austin Theory. I was kind of hoping that maybe it would be a Randy Orton, and Randy Orton would come in and hit an RKO on Cody Rhodes, and we'd finally get the turn. That would have been great, because I really want to see the Orton Cody story. They've been trying to tell it since 2022 when Cody came back. And for whatever reason, timings, injuries, they haven't pulled the trigger on it. So I was kind of hoping that would maybe be that. But I think ultimately it's probably going to be a bit disappointing when Austin Theory removes the mask in all actuality. And it felt like WWE's creative had a question of, okay, the baby faces need to lose because we need to tease the WrestleMania angle or the WrestleMania match. How do we have the baby faces lose while protecting them in a WarGames match? Well, this is where Austin Theory comes in, maybe. So then he hits the stomp on Punk that you can see there. We've got close to 400 people now watching, by the way. So if you haven't already, let's click that like button. Let's subscribe if you are new, and let me know your thoughts on who it is. Pamela says, I agree that it was Austin Theory. Lord says, tired of Seth Rollins' work. Some are saying it's still Randy Orton. I think it's Austin Theory. I think it looks like him. So that means that the heels get the victory. And to be honest, it's kind of wild seeing Brock Lesnar actually, raising hands with teammates. And Michael Cole with the stat saying it's the first time Brock Lesnar's been in a match with teammates since 2004. 21 years. It's pretty wild, isn't it? So this is then, we get into, the crowd felt like something was going to happen here. And it didn't. Basically, when WWE stages a scene like this, when they've got, deliberately set this way, this is a tease. Right here, this is a tease for something. Now, I don't know if the tease for WrestleMania is there's going to be this triple threat match. They've just subbed out Seth Rollins and put Cody Rhodes in. Maybe, I guess. CM Punk, by the way, looks a million years old at that point, but he's been wrestling for 40 minutes at the age of 47, so credits to him on that one. But it looked like it was maybe teasing some kind of WrestleMania. But if they're doing Cody versus Roman again, do we really need to see the trilogy on that? And then it basically closes with Roman says to Cody, we're never teaming again. We're never teaming again. And Cody Rhodes says, yes, we're not teaming again. So there was reports and rumors, wasn't there, that this match was, at the end of this show, we were going to see, a tease of what the big WrestleMania main event was going to be. I know that Meltzer had said that at one point it was going to be Rollins versus Reigns. I still push back on that I don't believe that to be accurate. It looks to... would they really do a triple threat of Punk versus Cody versus Reigns? Would they really do Cody versus Roman again? Is that what they would do? I don't really have the desire to see a trilogy match. I know it's one apiece. Roman won at 39. Rhodes won at 40. Maybe. But I don't know if, again, I have the desire to see that. I mean, a triple threat match, both titles on the line. Would they really unify the titles? They only just introduced the World Heavyweight Championship a couple of years ago. There's still a lot of questions there. And I know sometimes that's a good thing, that there's still a lot of questions there, but I'm not sure if they're necessarily the best questions. But once again, for those that are just tuning in, we've got over 400 people watching now, which is fantastic. Let's see if we can get to 100 likes. We're 25 likes away from 100, and be sure to subscribe. The mystery person attacks CM Punk. I think it's Austin Theory. That build. One thing's for certain, yeah, it ain't Seth Rollins. It's not Seth Rollins. First of all, Seth Rollins, well, having shoulder surgery or not having shoulder surgery, would have had to have put on, it looks to be 15, 20 pounds of muscle, if that is Seth Rollins, which it isn't. Seth Rollins is legitimately injured, and they're just trying to do the reverse of what happened earlier this year. Earlier this year, Rollins wasn't hurt. They tried to work the crowd, the audience, into thinking that he was hurt, so the reveal happened at SummerSlam. This time, it's the other way around. Rollins is legitimately hurt, and because of this, they're trying to make people think, oh, he's not hurt, when he actually is. That, to me, looks like Austin Theory. Austin Theory's a big guy. The person underneath that black attire looks like to be a pretty big guy, pretty muscular guy. And he does a pretty good stomp, doesn't he? And he certainly did a pretty good one on CM Punk. The argument could be made, that's how you can tell it's not Rollins, because Rollins' knees are so messed up from doing the stomp for all of these years now. He does it even a little bit differently, doesn't he? His stomp's not as fierce as that one was, and he got some pretty big height on it, whoever did that one. So, yeah, I think it's Austin Theory. The reports going into Survivor Series are actually around sort of September time, September, October. We're saying that Austin Theory was going to be a part of the vision prior to Rollins getting hurt. And maybe this angle of Theory joining the Vision, instead of it happening on an episode of Raw, which was probably the original plan prior to Rollins getting hurt, they just went, well, let's just do it at the PLE. That can be the finish. And then we can tease the the WrestleMania match. Maybe that's what it is. So yeah, I think it's Austin Theory. And then who else could it be, really? You know, realistic, who else could it be? I mean, that I know some people are saying Solo Sikoa. It looks to me too tall to be Solo Sikoa. And no disrespect to Solo, but Solo's a bit more of a sort of chunkier guy. I don't think that's Solo Sikoa. Solo's a bit shorter. So I don't think it's him. Some are saying Gunther. You know when you start doing the sort of step backwards again? I mean, Gunther would make sense in the sense that, you know, Punk defeated him at SummerSlam. That's why he went away for a while. And Punk's the World Heavyweight Champion at the moment, maybe. But I think it's Austin Theory. I think it's Austin Theory. That would be... And also, as I mentioned earlier on, the person who portrayed it this evening, that might not even be the person it's eventually revealed to be. Sometimes that's what WWE or pro wrestling, you know, look at the Black Scorpion and WCW in the 90s. They booked that without even knowing who it was going to be. And it was like 3 or 4 different people. In the end, it was revealed to be Ric Flair. So, you know, the person who portrayed it tonight might not even be the actual person. They might reveal it to be someone completely different. They might keep this running until January next year. Maybe it's Chris Jericho. You know, that's not Chris Jericho, but maybe the person it was revealed to be is Chris Jericho at some point, right? The point being, it could be anyone. And in storyline, it could be anyone. In terms of the person physically doing it this evening, I think that's probably Austin Theory, is my guess. Timothy says it's LA Knight. Can confirm, Kitty, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. Yeah, I was here the whole time. Yeah. So it wasn't me. It wasn't me. John says not Rollins. James says Austin Theory as well. Halloween Freak says the curb stop was not Seth. Exactly. It just, and also as well, it makes from a logical point as well. It makes zero sense for it to be Rollins, even from storyline. Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman turn on him, so I'm going to assist them to win at WarGames. That's what I'm going to do. That doesn't make a lot of sense, really, that much, does it? So yeah, I think it's Austin Theory. The problem is with it being Austin Theory is, like I say, when if that's the direction they go in, when they do reveal that to be Austin Theory, it's a big letdown, isn't it? And that was something that was noticeable at the end of this show. If you go back and watch it, I don't know if you guys noticed this in the chat. The crowd wanted more. The crowd expected more. You know, they did the post-match angle where, you know, Punk and Reigns and Cody face off, and Cody and Reigns have words, and Reigns says, "We're never teaming together again." And the crowd were like, "Okay, something's going to happen. Any minute now, something's going to happen." And then the graphics came on the screen, you know, executive producers, Paul Levesque and Lee Fitting, and the crowd went, "Oh, we thought something else was going to..." They were kind of waiting for a little bit more, you know. They were kind of waiting for a little bit extra that they didn't get. I'm not sure what they were necessarily hoping to see, if it was going to be some kind of turn or what have you, but they didn't get that. So... as far as who it is, of course, when it comes to the if we do get any actually legitimate identification, we'll let you know in a news video. But my prediction is for this one is I think it's Austin Theory, which will be a bit of a letdown. Some are saying Jacob Fatu. I mean, I'm only seeing Austin Theory there, to be honest. Jacob Fatu's a big guy. To be honest with you, the reason why I'm saying Austin Theory is look at the guy's traps and near his neck. That's why I think it's Austin Theory. I don't recall a time that Jacob Fatu had giant traps there. You know what I mean? So, nor does Solo Sikoa have that kind of those sort of giant traps either. I think that's Austin Theory. In fact, I remember when it's the last Vince McMahon main event of Raw was that bloody pose down or pose off between Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley, and Theory's got big traps. So that's where I'm going with that one. And I tell you what, if it is him, what a heck of a spot to return into. You're part of the finish of WarGames. You stomp Punk. Yeah, and then I suppose that the outcome of that is Paul Heyman once again. He's always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. That's why Paul Heyman's a Hall of Famer. That's why he's the wise man, the oracle. He's always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. That's what it's all about. Does Austin Theory being in the Vision actually really do anything for me? No, but I suppose at least, it is, at least it's, I suppose at least he's doing something. He was someone that in the Vince McMahon era got a big push, and people weren't really behind it at the time. Triple H came in. He hasn't been booked very strongly. But then some people would say, well, the reason he's not been pushed and booked strongly under Triple H is because he's not that good. He's a young guy. He's got a great look, but then the bell rings. I remember the match he had with Cena at WrestleMania 39, and going into that, Cena fucking bodied him on a promo and just literally shot on him, was basically like, "You're shit." Yeah, it was just like, "You suck." Fine speech. Yeah, when you come out here, no one makes any noise. I've got to work with you at WrestleMania. Yeah, and it was kind of a bit rough for him, wasn't it? So I gotta go with Theory. In terms of the match was fine. Again, it's not the best WarGames match. It was star-studded. Some concerning points about Bron Breakker. Thankfully, looks like he's okay, but even though it looked like he broke his neck at one point. But that's him. The show started off with the women's WarGames match, which honestly was such a paint-by-numbers match. It was, again, featured some good spots. The finish, AJ Lee makes Becky Lynch tap out to the Black Widow once again. Io Sky did her traditional dive off the top of the cage with her in the trash can spot. To be fair, she upped it this year. She did a senton or swanton instead, which was very, very impressive. But this match was just kind of paint by numbers, in all honesty. It was kind of paint by numbers at points, a bit clunky, and the baby faces get the win. And I kind of was sort of going through it, going, I'm not really sure what the story is, in that one. I wasn't really sure what the story is. I guess we're still building towards Becky Lynch versus AJ in a one-on-one match. But yeah, that was about it. Right, already, folks, I have some news as to who potentially the man under the mask was. Let's go back to this man under the mask. Get past these. So, according to a new report that is just dropped from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, WWE sources, they say, claim the man under the mask was Austin Theory tonight. Fightful said they'll have more details soon. So already you're getting Fightful Sean Ross Sapp saying Austin Theory was the man under the mask, which it does look like, as I've said. It does look like it was Austin Theory. Now, take it with a bit of caution, because I would always think that if WWE sources are saying to people, oh, it was Austin Theory, that kind of makes me think it wasn't Austin Theory, to be honest. Sometimes when things are a bit more of a closely guarded secret, then you go, okay, that makes a bit more sense. But the fact they've got, who is it? It was Austin Theory. But it looks like him. It looks like Austin Theory. That if you want, in particularly with the rumors and reports he was going to join the Vision anyway, then you see the build of the guy that's under that mask. That looks to me like Austin Theory. But the fact that straight away WWE sources are claiming, oh yeah, it was Austin Theory, you go, oh, maybe it wasn't then. Because this whole angle is about trying to work people. They're trying to work that it was Seth Rollins. So this is when you get this. This is the weird part of pro wrestling, isn't it? Of like, no, the work's a work. That's like, and this is when you try and explain pro wrestling to people that aren't pro wrestling fans. This is when properly you get in the weeds, isn't it? when you go like, they're trying to convince us it's Seth Rollins, but then they're also trying to convince the people on social media that it's Austin Theory. Even though it might be Austin Theory, and it looks like Austin Theory. And like I said earlier on, that guy might be Austin Theory, but when eventually they take off the mask, it might not be Austin Theory because they had Theory do it tonight to try and throw you off who it's actually going to be revealed to be. And that is the mind fuck that is pro wrestling in a nutshell. Of when you just go, what? Huh? Maybe they've got no idea where they're going with this as well. That's the other thing to consider. Maybe that's the other thing. They went, well, we just need a bit of a swerve. Vince Russo style. Let's do a swerve. Book it. What's the plan for it? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out at some later point. It'll become obvious to us at some point, maybe. We've still got close to 300 people watching, which is great. If you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe. A bunch of new subscribers tonight, so I really appreciate everyone that's getting involved. So that's the latest on who it is. It looks like Austin Theory. It's being reported to be Austin Theory. If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck, right? I don't know. Maybe that's what the duck wants you to think. It's too late for this kind of shit. Right, so we spoke about the Women's WarGames match. Next up, Intercontinental Championship. John Cena has had his final ever PLE match for WWE, and he lost the Intercontinental Championship to Dirty Dominic Mysterio. You want to talk about getting worked? They had a spot in this match where, again, I don't know if it was meant to be like an injury tease spot, but it was almost exactly the same as the Penta situation on Monday, where it looks like the person's going to do a Hurricane Runner from the barricade, and they're either going to take a Hurricane Runner or it's going to turn into a power bomb, and it looked like legitimately Dom was injured. I don't know if it was a botch that they just turned into something or that was always the plan. But when this was all happening, you then had Pop Rocks, you had a Tahana Bomb, and then Dom hit the 619. Cena kicked out, which was a good spot. And after that, crowd were always into it anyway. It's Dom in his hometown versus Cena in his last PLE match. They're always going to be into it. But the crowd liked that. And then it was just really a case of how many times can Dom try and cheat to win effectively? Whether it was the Judgment Day coming out, which, by the way, Judgment Day came out, Rey Mysterio nowhere to be found. Like I said in the stream, he really is an absent father, isn't he? He didn't even bother to fucking show up, help John. He just watched, and he was there. He was on the countdown show. But Cena then turned back the clock like it was WrestleMania 25, and he had Edge and the Big Show on his shoulders. This time it was Finn Balor and JD McDonough with a double AA, which was great to see. And then Liv Morgan. As I spoke about in my Major Returns video, Liv Morgan makes her return. And you think, oh, is she going to reunite with Dom? She slaps him, but misses him by about that much, by the way, which looked a bit weird. Cena, he's like, oh, what's going on? And then we have the flashback to what Cena did to Cody at Elimination Chamber. There's the hug, and then there's the change of face, and then there's the kick right in the nuts by Liv Morgan. This allows Dom... I think actually she hits Cena with the Intercontinental Championship. Dom hits the 619 and the Frog Splash and wins the Intercontinental Championship in the process. So Liv is back. Dom has the Intercontinental Championship and the AAA Mega Championship. Cena puts Dom over, which I kind of thought was probably going to be the way. That's what Cena wants to do. I'm not thrilled about Cena losing his last two matches because he's going to lose his retirement match. Which wasn't great, but he wants to put over the new talent. That's why the Saturday Night's Main Event show in 2 weeks' time is main roster talent versus NXT talent. He wants to put over Dom. I wouldn't be even shocked if he kind of was like, yeah, that's who I want to work with. Even though he always says, I just, get given the opponents and then do what I do. But Dom's the Intercontinental Champion. In terms of an actual match, there's not really a lot to write home about in terms of a technical match, but it was about the spectacle. And that's what these Cena retirement matches are about. They're about the spectacle, they're about chaos, they're about sports entertainment. And I was sports entertained by this point. I don't know if emotionally I am ready for 2 weeks' time. Cena walking out after this, You see him there. He's done this a few times on this retirement tour, hasn't he? Of looking sort of shocked, and I gave you my best shot, and that was it. Yeah, that's going to hit different in a couple of weeks' time, isn't it? That's going to be tough to see the childhood disappear like Thanos just snapped his fingers. Oof. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. And that's what this match should be. It was fun. It wasn't super long, but it was fun. Crowd enjoyed it, and it's kind of wild that John Cena's final PLE match ever was against Dominic Mysterio, and he lost the Intercontinental Championship. If you'd have said that like a year ago, his penultimate one, Intercontinental title, loses to Dom, and Survivor Series, you'd be like, what? What? But yeah, Rice says one final PLE at December. That's not a PLE. This was his final PLE. Survivor Series is a PLE. Saturday Night's Main Event is not. So that's why they were saying about it being his final PLE. It's his penultimate appearance, penultimate match. His final appearance, his final match is Saturday Night's Main Event, which is 2 weeks' time, December 13th. Of course, we'll be live with a watch-along and a post-show for that as well. Next up, we had the Women's World Title match. Less said about this, the better, really. Nothing really happened. Stephanie Vaquer won. Well, she should have won. She did win. She's still the Women's World Champion. Difficult spot for them both in the sense that they're just coming off the Cena match, which was a big selling point at the PLE. At this point, they're just waiting for the main event. So the crowd was pretty quiet. In-ring action was fine, was what it was. There was a devil's kiss on the outside on the announce table, which the crowd liked. There you go. There was also then one in the ring. Vaquer hits a twisting corkscrew moonsault, gets the 1, 2, 3, and that's all she wrote. And hopefully that's the end of that feud, because there was a lot of pushback when Nikki Bella even got this match of like, well, she hasn't won any matches. This whole storyline of you can't keep up with the current crop of female WWE superstars is true. It's not even that much of a story, is it? It's reality. You just watch it with your eyes. This is probably one of Nikki's better performances this evening, but it was a difficult spot. They almost had to have a match to bring the people down after the Cena match and sort of cleanse the palate a little bit, if you will. And that's really what this match was. That was kind of the purpose of it, wasn't it? And that's what we saw. So Vaquer, still the Women's World Champion. And then, as we spoke about earlier on, the WarGames match. For the first time since 2022, the heels actually won the match. Not clean, of course, because that couldn't happen. As far as what's next, well, a lot of the people in that picture aren't going to be showing up, are they? We won't see Brock till next year, most likely. We'll probably see Brock at the Rumble, right? Brock came back just to be in this WarGames, and then he'll disappear. Logan Paul. Actually, Logan wasn't even really involved a ton in this match. We probably won't see him for a while. So maybe that's why they need it to be Austin Theory, because they need people on Raw, because a couple of those people ain't going to be showing up for a while afterwards. Yeah, and it still feels wild that, Brock's raising hands with competitors there, with teammates rather. But the big story will be, who is this person? It looks to be Austin Theory. I think it's Austin Theory. Whether or not it's later actually revealed to be Austin Theory, we shall tell. And we shall see. And as far as what the tease was for WrestleMania, well, the way that's framed says to me triple threat, but then afterwards it was more focused on Cody and Roman, which, are they really going to go with a trilogy? Is that what they're going with? Maybe they are. I mean, maybe you have to also think that next year's WrestleMania effectively is probably just going to be done to set up that WrestleMania in Saudi. Remember, in 2027, WrestleMania is in Saudi, and that's probably going to be the most expensive WrestleMania ever in terms of money put into it. And that guy that just flashed up on the screen there, The Rock, if he's ever going to wrestle again at a WrestleMania, it will be in 2027 in Saudi, because the Saudi PIF will give him the most money ever to main event at WrestleMania. And I guess it's just up to, who does WWE want the champion to be that faces off against The Rock? Does it need to have a championship? No, but The Rock will probably want that. So it's the case of, does The Rock want to face Seth Rollins? Does The Rock want to face Roman Reigns and do the match that they were planning to do at WrestleMania 40? Or does The Rock want to face Cody Rhodes, the match they were planning to do after WrestleMania 40? By the way, neither of them has happened, because that's what happens with Dwayne. he can get involved in big storylines, and then like this year at Elimination Chamber, just go, I'm not really interested now. The final boss has done what he needs to do. As far as what Punk would be doing at this year's WrestleMania, like I said, I would still like to see maybe Roman Reigns versus CM Punk, and then Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. Those are the matches that I would like to see. I really want them to finally do that Cody Randy story, give it the spotlight it deserves, and have Randy turn heel on Cody, teacher versus student. Even though I was, your mentor, I'm still a snake. Never trust a viper. That kind of whole thing. Bitterness, jealousy on the part of Randy Orton that, Cody's QB1 and times, passing him by. That's what I would like to see. Whether or not that's what they actually do, we shall see. We shall see at WrestleMania. We shall see indeed. Where do we end up in terms of likes? We still got 250 people watching. If you haven't already, click the like button. Let's see if we can get to 150 likes on the way out. Really appreciate everyone that's tuned in, locked in this evening across the watch along and the post show. I like to keep these post shows not super long because I don't want to waste you guys' time. I know it's a late one for people around Europe and the States or what have you. So really appreciate that. Tomorrow we'll have a ton of coverage about just who the person is. Like I said, already reports are coming out suggesting that the person is Austin Theory. That's according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select. Like I said, I would take it with a pinch of salt. It looks like Austin Theory, but it does kind of make me a bit hesitant that straight away WWE sources are claiming to Fightful, it's Austin Theory. When someone's so willing to give up information like that, that kind of suggests that they're trying to push you in a specific direction. Which is weird because they're already trying to push us in the direction that is Seth Rollins. And then the other direction that they're trying to push us into is that it's Austin Theory. Maybe. So, maybe it'll be revealed as soon as Monday's Raw. Maybe they decide, actually, fuck it. It's the first thing that's got people talking about WWE for a while this year. The creatives struggled. We've got a whodunit. Everyone loves a whodunit or who is it? Mystery reveal. Drag it out for a little bit. They could easily do that. So there you go, guys. Really appreciate everyone tuning in. Like I said, 9 likes away from 150 likes. If you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe. More news videos coming, more top 5s coming, more live streams coming. 2 weeks' time, I'll be live for Saturday night's main event here. By the way, for those that are watching in the United States, Saturday night's main event in 2 weeks' time, you can watch it for free. No Peacock or anything like that. Obviously, in the United States, it's going to be airing exclusively on Peacock. It's not even going to be on ESPN, on NBC anymore. Saturday night's main event. It's only on Peacock. You can watch it for free on YouTube like we will be doing over here in the UK. All you got to do is get a VPN, and you can use our NordVPN link. You can get up to 77% off plus 3 months extra. All you got to do is scan that QR code or use our link. That's nordvpn.com/WN365. Once again, that's nordvpn.com/WN365. Links in the video description below. It's also pinned in the chat. Change your location to here in the UK. You get to watch Saturday night's main event for free on YouTube. John Cena's retirement match for free on YouTube. Plus all of your WWE content through one Netflix subscription. That's Raw, SmackDown, NXT, main roster PLEs, like Survivor Series tonight, NXT PLEs, archive content, all through one Netflix subscription. All you got to do is get a VPN. You can use our link. You can save yourself some money, and you can support this channel in the process. Right, I'm off to bed because I've got to be up early for United View in the morning. Well, in a couple of hours. So appreciate everyone for locking in, tuning in as always, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.